So if you had, a piece of advice or something like that for, let's say, a young, you know, um, new like school district food service director, to try and make changes like that, what type of advice might you give somebody in that role?
I mean, the best advice is one, make sure that your administration is on board for what you want to do. Because I've seen it both ways. I've seen districts where their administration wanted them to head in that kind of direction, but they weren't willing to do it. It's a nightmare.
Sure.
And vice versa. I've seen directors who come in and really have high hopes and big plans for what their food service program is going to look like. And when you change a program from an old traditional kind of program to a really forward thinking and innovative program, there's a little bit of rub there. It happens, service times
Right.
get a little slower until your staff figures it out, and principals don't want to hear that shit. Principals,
Yeah. Right.
you got 12 minutes. I want all 500 of those
Mhm.
kids to get through that line and get back to class. I don't give a shit what you serve them. So, and
Right.
there's superintendents out there that feel the same way, because at the end of the day, they think, our job is to educate these kids.
Right.
I was fortunate. I had a superintendent who understood that the better I fed kids, I had to be efficient at it too. And I had to do that
Yep.
in a financially sustainable manner. But the better I fed kids, the better behaved they were in the classroom, the better prepared they were for success in the classroom. So
Right.
best advice is making sure that your administration is on board.
Hmm.
One. Two, look around. There's a lot of great examples around the country of people who are doing great things. It's a good industry for best practice sharing for sure. I used to host 10 to 15 visits a year from districts around the country who would come in and spend 1, 2, sometimes 3 or 4 days, but usually about 2 days with us. They'd come in we had them from Alaska. We had them from New York, Minnesota, California, a lot from Texas. I think there was 20 something different states over the course of those really 12-ish years, because take out COVID years and there, nobody was visiting. But during those 12 years, 10 to 15 districts a year would come in and visit with us, and we would just share best practices.
That's amazing. Yeah.
We did the math. I don't know. It was somewhere between 130 and 150 districts visited us during that time.
Jeez.
And through that, we shared our best practices, and inevitably we ended up learning from them as well.
Right.
But the best advice I gave to all of them was really have a good vision, understand where you are, and identify all the low-hanging fruit you can that are going to be required to get to that vision.